Hello, and we are live on YouTube. I am hoping that there are people out there. I'm hoping you can see us. I'm hoping you can hear us. The numbers will start to build up as we go. So a huge warm welcome to every single one of you as you join us from all across Scotland for our first ever DYW Up to You webinar. We are going to be live every single day this week at 2 p.m. and we have rammed each and every episode full of all sorts of inspiring people and of course some amazing content for you as well. We're going to be having amazing conversations with employers, young people and specialists from all different pathways that of course you yourself might end up taking. And the whole point of these events is to support you with whatever the next step is in your own no wrong path journey. Now, before I tell you who I am and we do any introductions whatsoever, there is one thing that I need to get out of the way, and it is really, really important. Now, I've only been talking for about 20 seconds, and I know that there are some people out there who haven't paid attention to a single word I've been saying because you're too busy wondering what it is that's going on behind me there. There's going to have been comments. There's going to have been discussions. There might have been more than just a simple discussion as you all decide actually what this is. So there's going to have been things around, is it green screen? Is it wallpaper? Not just computer wallpaper, but actual wallpaper. Or does this guy have the neatest yet most repetitive shelving obsession that you've ever seen in your life? So for the distracted amongst you, I can assure you it is actual wallpaper, Homebase's finest to be exact, but of course much cheaper on Amazon. So now we've got that out the way, I can tell you a little bit about me and our panelists. So my name is Gavin Oates, and it is an honour to have been asked to host every single day this week. And what you're going to discover over the next 35 to 40 minutes is that there truly is no wrong path. And I know you've heard that phrase umpteen times in school, but it's absolutely true. And you're also going to discover that you have an abundance of incredible people and incredible organizations at your disposal to get support from, advice from, and to ask as many questions off as you possibly can. When I was at school, we didn't have anything like this. All this stuff that you have available today is incredible. And I can assure you one of the things I've learned in my career is that there genuinely is no wrong path. I grew up in Troon in Ayrshire. I know we have a lot of schools in the West Coast tuning into this today. I grew up in Troon, went to Northern College of Education in Aberdeen. Now, it doesn't even exist anymore. It got flattened the year I graduated, not because of anything I did, I might add. But I trained as a primary school teacher for 4 years, went into teaching, and then took a big shift into the world of stand-up comedy, which is kind of just the exact same thing as teaching. You have to capture an audience right from the start. You have to take them on this wonderful journey. You have to entertain them. You have to enlighten them. You have to educate them. And you make sure they're walking out the room absolutely buzzing at the end, of course. And then, like all great rock and roll stories, that all imploded. It all went wrong. And I went back to teaching. And I fell back in love with the world of education. And then I sidestepped into the world of training and development. And then I found myself 11 and a half years ago running a business, which I never planned on doing at all. And that company's called Tree of Knowledge. And I know there's a lot of people out there tuning in today who have experienced the work that we do. And now I get to speak at conferences all over the world and write books and all sorts. And that was never part of my plan. And that's just it. Most people out there actually didn't have a set plan. Most of us, actually, if I'm being honest, still don't really have a plan. In fact, the truth is most of us have no idea what we're doing. But what we do is get up every day, give it everything we've got, and take a hold of all those opportunities. And that's what this week is all about, to show you about all those amazing opportunities that are out there for you. So what I would like to do now is introduce today's panelists. Now, remember, we're doing this every day this week. We've got different panelists every day. But today is all about jobs and apprenticeships. And on our panel today, of course, we have Andrew Colquhoun from Doosan Babcock. These people are going to start appearing on your screen now. Hello, Andrew. Then we're going to have Duncan Pennycook from Lloyds Banking Group. We have Andrea McDonald from NHS Lothian. Hello, Duncan. Hello, Andrea. Then we have Alex Rose from J&B Pierce Contracts. And then, of course, we have Lindsay Marie Stark from ASDA. Now, behind the scenes, we've also got Hilary from SDS, who's on hand for any extra careers. She's waving. I can see her, but you can't. But I promise she's there. So she might come in and jump in and join in the conversation as we go. So a big warm welcome to all our guests. I just want to say to everybody a huge thank you for giving up your time today to offer parts of your journey, your story, any bits and pieces of advice that you have to all of the young people that are tuning in to DYW Up to You today. Now, before I ask you any questions at all, I want to remind everybody that is watching this today that we have hashtags that are running today. So if I just pop that on there just now, you can see we have DYW Up to You 20, and of course, Old No Wrong Path. Now, you make sure you're joining in all of those discussions throughout the course of today. After today, you can search back through those hashtags if you've missed anything. And remember, we're going to be covering lots of topics over the course of the week, so you can always dip in and out. So, Andrew, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Andrew, can you tell us a wee bit about who you are and what you do?
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Gavin. My name's Andrew Cahoon. 35 years ago, I left school and joined Dushan Babcock as an apprentice. And the last 4 years, I've now been the CEO of the same company.
That's amazing. There's a brilliant story right there. Andrew, I've got lots of questions for you a little bit later on. But in the meantime, I'm going to jump to you, Duncan. If you can tell us who you are and what you do.
Yes, so my name's Duncan. I'm a project manager at Lloyds Banking Group. I left school not too many years ago now. It was only 3 years ago that I left, and have been in this apprenticeship ever since.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And then we're going to move to Andrea. Tell us a wee bit about yourself. Andrea, can you hear me? Oh, I think something's maybe happened to Andrea's sound. Can I double check that the rest of you can hear me? Is that thumbs up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi,
okay.
everybody.
Oh, Andrea, there you go. Go for it. Oh.
Hi.
So we're just having a wee bit of trouble with Andrea's sound there. So we'll come back to you, Andrea. I'm going to jump to Alex. Alex, can you tell us a wee bit about who you are and what you do?
Hi there, I'm Alec Rose. I'm the Head of Skills Development at JD Pierce Contracts, and it's my job to oversee all training within the company.
Oh, amazing. Brilliant. Oh, we've lost Andrea. Hopefully we'll get her back very soon. So Lindsay Marie, tell us a wee bit about you.
Hi, my name's Lindsay Marie Stack, and I work as a people business partner at Asda. I look after 3 stores in Asda, and I just came out of school, didn't know what I wanted to do, went to college as there was just a wee part-time job for me, and I've been in management and as I worked my way up and been there for 10 years. So, yeah, that's me.
I love it. I love it already. I love the fact that, you know, we're going to be able to share some of this, the journey that you've all been on with all our young people that are watching today, because of course, right now we have so many young people all over Scotland, and at that stage, they've maybe just left in the summer there. They're maybe thinking about leaving this winter coming, but, you know, trying to weigh up all the different options of what's actually available to them. I mentioned right at the start of this session that today is all about jobs and apprenticeships. So, Andrew, I'm going to come to you first, if that's okay, because you've just said there that 35 years ago you left school and you started out as an apprentice, and you are now chief exec of an incredible organization. So can I ask you first up then, why do you think an apprenticeship is such a great starting point for a young person in their career?
Sure. I mean, I must be honest, Gavin, when I took on my apprenticeship, it wasn't as if I had options at that time. I mean, in my family, no one went to university. You know, my parents thought that apprenticeship was certainly the only route for you know, a young person to take, and I never thought about doing anything else. So for me, the apprenticeship was a great way to, you know, learn a lot of really good practical academic skills, but also to earn some money as well while I was learning. And I felt that, you know, doing an apprenticeship, particularly if you want to, move into senior management in a company, it gives you that. It gives you a really solid grounding in the business, and I think it helps prepare you for later on if you decide you want to do a degree and you want to do an MBA or something else.
Yeah,
I think it
brilliant.
flows much better. And I think you mature much quicker, I think, as an individual working in a, well, for me, it was an industrial environment. I was thrown into a very busy industrial factory at a very young age, and you grow up quickly, and far quicker than you would in a university.
And can I ask you, Andrew, was there any point when you were thrown into that environment, was there ever a thought in your head that one day you were going to be CEO?
I'll be honest, from the day I joined, I didn't think there was any barriers to me becoming the CEO. It was only after I joined and became an apprentice, I realised there were glass ceilings. And that really surprised me, because I remember having a discussion with one of the training advisors at the time when I was probably in my second year. And the conversation kind of went along the lines of, if you work really hard, son, you could be a charge hand or a foreman. Now, that's a good career for some people, but for me, I had my head that I could be anything I wanted to be, and that really inspired me to work hard and to complete my apprenticeship and move on and do some other things.
Yeah, I love it. I love that message that you can be anything you want to be, because do you know what? We've all been told it. We've all heard it. All the young people that are tuning in just now, schools all across Scotland watching and joining in with the conversation today, they'll be told regularly, you can be whatever you want to be. You put your mind to it, but sometimes it doesn't feel believable. Sometimes, it's difficult to actually really believe that we can put our mind to something and go and do whatever it is that we've ever dreamt of. But it's great to hear that story, Andrew. I'll come back to you in a little while. Andrea, I just want to make sure you can hear us now.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, listen, go and tell us a little bit about you.
So, hello everybody. I'm an occupational therapist by background. I've been working in the NHS for 27 years now. And my job now is not about being an occupational therapist all the time, but about helping other people to understand all the wonderful things that you can do in the and to really help people get that passion that's given me an amazing career. I'm really lucky. I knew what I wanted to be. And I think that a very privileged position to be in. So my job is to help other people now find what their passion is and what matters to them.
And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's finding your passion. It's that purpose. It's that why. It's that thing that gets you out of bed in the morning with a bit of a fire in your belly. Because what's the point in having a belly with no fire in it, eh? Right, Andrea, I'm, the NHS, I mean, legends, heroes. Of course, this last few months, you and your colleagues have been just, and rightly so, praised for what it is that you do. And what if, for all the young people that are watching, there's going to be a lot of people out there who are considering a career with the NHS. Is there a specific time of year that the NHS recruit for apprenticeships?
So apprenticeships are recruited to throughout the year, and different NHS boards will recruit at different times. So throughout the year, there's always a set of opportunities, and that might be the immediate NHS board in which you live, but it might be in a neighbourhood board as well that you can travel to, or that you could become part of. And there is over 350 roles that you can do in the NHS, so much more than just the immediate ones that you might think about, like nurses and doctors. We employ people like engineers, project managers. We employ key staff who help with all our infrastructure. They equate to just under half of the workforce, so they're a really, really important part of what. So there is many things that people can learn about and take part in.
That's brilliant. Fab, thank you for that. Right, Duncan, you said in your introduction that you only left school 3 years ago.
Yes, so I left school at the end, sort of in 2017, and in November of 2017, I started with Lloyd's.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And how did you find that process of applying for an apprenticeship? Was it quite daunting? Was there plenty of support there for you? How was it for you?
So when I decided to apply for an apprenticeship, sort of to start with, I went to a lot of the sort of careers events and everything to sort of get a good idea of sort of what was out there. In terms of the sort of applying, I got lots of support from sort of certainly within the school. When I said I was looking at apprenticeships, they helped direct me to some, and from lots of people in my family sort of helping me to make sure I chose the right path, make sure I had the right CV. And so, yeah.
Brilliant. I love it. Thank you for that. And Alex, tell us a wee bit about J&D Pearce Contracts, and then why did you decide to do an apprenticeship?
Well, JD Pearce Contracts, when I first started with JD Pearce Contracts, there were only 3 people in the company. We've now got over 400.
Wow.
I was their first employee, and I went there via work experience with the school, and I then served my time as a structural steel fabricator. And I just worked my way up the ranks to becoming the production manager for the full plant. I've done that for 20 years. And just a couple of years ago, I decided to get into training. I decided to go into a different career path, and that's how I'm into the head of skills development for the company. So I've been here for 32 years and watched the company grow. And it is a right success story, to be honest.
Absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's always good to hear a success story. There's lots of them, of course, in Scotland. Lindsay Marie, I'm going to come to you. So, of course, you're at Asda, and did you say you were in charge of 3 stores?
Yeah, so I do the HR for Bearsden, Maryhill and Bishop Briggs Asda. I look after the 3.
Let all our young people listening know what that means to work in HR.
So what I look after within my 3 stores, I look at like talent. So I look at like the capability of like all the colleagues we've got, colleagues, department managers, from people who want to be store managers. I'll look at like the talent of them, what their capabilities are, and I'll look at like making up some like training programs for them and what modules that we've got, and just pushing them forward to make sure that they get full capacity what they can do, and always make sure that they are training and they're growing within their role. I look at engagement as well, so we look at all things fun, and I look at people's well-being, so just about everything in HR.
I love it. So what are the type of career opportunities for our young people in retail?
In retail, there's so much more than what you expect. So you just you look at Asda, I think, and you just see filling shelves and checkout operators, but there is so much more. So there's obviously, when you start as a colleague, we run courses twice a year called You Can Be. So we're looking for people with the right behaviours that want to progress. We've got section leaders, we've got managers, trading managers, deputy managers, then obviously you've got store manager level, we've got jobs in Asda House, we've got jobs within logistics, and also there's obviously jobs within HR. There's just so many more opportunities in Asda than what you expect it to be.
Brilliant. And what did you say the name of the programme was, the thing?
We do one twice a year called You Can Be.
You Can Be. Cool. How do we find out more about that?
So that's when you start working in Asda, and that's a programme that we run internally, that we do twice a year, and we also work with Babcock as well. So we also do apprenticeships and retail launch degrees and stuff with working in partnership with Babcock as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Love it. Thank you for that. So Andrew, if I can come back to you, how does working an apprenticeship prepare you for your role as a chief executive officer of an organisation like yours? You started to touch on some of the skills that you'd learned. So for everybody listening who is maybe 16, 17, 18, 19, early 20s, that just thinks, a role like a CEO, any sort of leadership role is maybe not what an apprenticeship will lead to. Prove them wrong.
Okay, let me answer it maybe in a slightly different way. I mean, the apprenticeship itself teaches any youngster a lot of very good skills. It'll teach you about leadership, it'll teach you about teamwork, organisational skills, commercial awareness. time management, interpersonal skills, and so forth. It's how you then put those to good use. And one of the questions I get asked by my apprentices is, what have you done? What things have you done, if you like, to allow you to go from apprentice to CEO? And I always give them 5 bits of advice. And what I tell them is, once you've got your apprenticeship, you've got to work hard. No matter how smart you are. In my book, having a really strong work ethic is always better than the smartest guy in the room. I'm rarely the smartest guy in the room, but there's very few people that will work harder than me. And if you can bring the two together, fantastic. I tell them to over-deliver. When you're an apprentice and you're trying to make your way, you want to be noticed, you want to differentiate yourself. So how do you do that? It's about over-delivering. If someone asks you to do something, do it better. Find a better way of delivering what you've been asked to do, something that makes you stand out. Set yourself big goals and stay focused on them. That's another thing from me. It's easy to lose focus as you go through your career and as life impacts in what you're doing and your priorities maybe change. But if you want to be a leader, want to be a manager, want to be the CEO, continually work hard, set short, medium and long-term goals and how you're going to get there, and don't lose focus. The fourth thing is take every opportunity. I mean, people hear this all the time. What I'd say is the opportunities that have helped me grow most are the opportunities that take me right out of my comfort zone. The opportunities that make me feel really uncomfortable, the ones that I want to push back and avoid, embrace those opportunities. Those are the ones that will help you grow, no question. And the fifth thing I tell people is treat everyone with respect. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Because as you go through your career, people you work with, work for, are in charge of, things change. You need the support of your internal network and your external network to help you get where you want to be. So I don't know if that maybe answered the question exactly, Gavin, but that's the 5 things, the 5 pieces of advice I always give my apprentices. The things that I feel have worked for me.
Yeah, and I think there's great stuff there that everybody on the panel, everybody listening will get something from and will agree to. I love this. I love the idea of kind of, going above and beyond, Andrew, that first point that you talked about there. I've always kind of lived my own business life with the kind of mantra that just do it better than you have to. I think there's an awful lot of people settle and just do just enough. But actually, if we go out every day to do it better than we have to, doesn't matter what route you choose, what path you decide to go down, it's a bit of advice that'll stand you in good stead. And this idea of respect, I think it's really important. We need to remember that there's an awful lot of great people out there who've been on their own journey and followed their own path and done the most incredible things. And we don't have to be best friends, but at the same time, respect will take us a long, long way. Thank you for that, Andrew. Andrea, I'm going to jump back to you. Just thinking about the NHS again, there's going to be so many people listening to this who are thinking about the NHS as a potential path for them. What would be the difference for a young person undertaking a modern apprenticeship as opposed to just going for a job with the NHS? What are the key differences?
Okay, so you can just come for an entry-level job with us, and that might be okay. The bonus for me of an apprenticeship is it's going to really help you within a time-defined period, help you to develop personally, as well as getting the skills and knowledge that you need to be really well placed to move your career forward. And it doesn't really matter at the beginning, you might not know what your career is going to look like. I haven't known and planned out many of the jobs that I've held, but if you put yourself in the best place that you can be, take up the opportunities that are in front of you, generally doors will open and your career will grow and progress. But what you need to do is you're progressing yourself. So your own values, your own behaviours that go with that, things that Andrew picked up on, how you behave in work and how you apply that skill and knowledge to your workplace is really important. And an apprenticeship is a really great structure to do that. It gives you access to mentors, it gives you access to timed education, it gives you access to additional learning opportunities around it, and then you'll get some help in what your next steps can be as well. And that's really powerful. It's a hard place to big organisation.
Yeah, I love what you said there about, you know, if you work hard and so on, that doors will generally open, and I absolutely stand by that. You know, the business that I run, Tree of Knowledge, you know, we work in schools all the time, and we come up, we travel all over the country, meeting all sorts of young people who will tell us that, you know, they're not lucky, you know, they're not lucky enough, you know, these things never work out for them, but it's what you've said is so true. You know, if you apply yourself, if you allow yourself to work hard, again, picking up some of the points from Andrew, you know, be respectful, give it all you've got, and all that kind of stuff. It is amazing, with a bit of belief as well, not luck. I'm not sure I believe in luck. I think you kind of make your own to some extent, maybe need a wee bit here and there, but it is true that doors will generally open. So with that in mind, Duncan, you're 3 years out of school. You're not brand new to the world of apprenticeships, but you're fairly new to the world of work. Is it true? Do doors generally open if you apply yourself properly?
So yeah, certainly over the course of when I completed my apprenticeship, a lot of the work that I was doing, the more you applied yourself, the more opportunities you'd be given to try new things. And so if you were putting in sort of minimal effort on something, people would be less likely to give you more responsibility. But the more effort and the more skills you develop, the more people look and go, actually, you can try this now, you can try this. And then it slowly builds up more and more to the point that by the time you finish an apprenticeship, you're at a stage where you may as well have been in the job the whole time, because you built up so many skills, so much responsibility, that looking back, you'd think, how on earth am I even doing this? Because comparing where you started off to where you finish, it's just leaps and bounds, because people slowly and slowly will give you more and more experiences, and it'll just help to build your skills.
Brilliant. And what would you say are the kind of key skills that you've been learning over this last 3 years from your apprenticeship?
So with doing project management, there's got quite a wide number of things. So I ended up sort of trying out lots of different roles within the project management world. But the sort of key things from my perspective is the ability to communicate with people and the ability to work with others in a way that you can get them on side to what you're trying to do, whilst also buying into what they want. And sort of that goes across every sort of role that I've been in, that every time you try and work with someone and sort of try and help them to get what they want, but at the same time getting what you're needing to do that role, it just makes everything so much better. And to top that all off, as you keep doing it and you build up more confidence, it all just goes in. I mean, when I first started my apprenticeship, I wasn't necessarily that confident. Even talking on something like this would be next to non-existent. But over the 2 years of the apprenticeship and the year or so that I've been out of it, it's night and day compared to when I started.
Brilliant. Love it. Okay, Alex, doing an apprenticeship, is it how you imagined it would be when you left school?
No, honestly, it was a small company when I started, and I couldn't believe how well it's progressed. Like I says, we're only 3 in the company, and now there's 400 of us, and there's all different trades, from engineers to QSs to draftsmen to people in the accounts to we must have, I think we've got 50 structural steel fabricators that work within the company. So it's changed so much, and I didn't expect it to go.
What's been the key takeaways for you? The real kind of both work and life skills. What are the big things that it's given you?
The big things it's given me, well, it's given me a great career. It's given me a great career, as I said. I came in here as work experience, served my time, on to foreman, and then worked my way into the production manager, where I was in charge of the plant and was in charge of over 200 people within the production facility. And it just gave me a lot of confidence, and I have learnt a lot of skills within that time with HAP Peers.
It's amazing though what happens if you can get in with, when you get in with some right people, just how they're able to help your confidence build and build and build, and just, you know, levels of just bravery and courage just start to up a little bit, and the mindset changes, and you start applying yourself to a wee bit more, and before you know it, you know, well, in your particular case, company's grown, doing all sorts of incredible things, and you know, been able to do all sorts of wonderful things over the last few years. Lindsay Marie, can I ask, in terms of, well, specifically Asda, but kind of retail in general, I suppose, where are jobs signposted for anybody that's watching this now that's thinking retail's for them? Now, you mentioned the fact that, you know, in retail, there's so many roles that a lot of us don't even know about. I mean, I bet there's a lot of people watching this right now wouldn't even have known that likes of your role exists in an Asda. Where are jobs signposted? What is that recruitment process? What's it look like?
So with Asda, everything's on our website. So asda.com, and there's a job that section on there. You click onto that, and that'll give you every job that there is within Asda. So you would put in like your postcode, and it'll come up with all the different types of jobs that we've got. You would apply, everything's done online. Obviously we're living in this digital world, so you go online and you answer some questions. The questions are kind of like scenario based on kind of general shop floor questions. Once you pass the online test, we then invite you into the store and we do like a group kind of evaluation type thing, and within that we're looking for behaviours as well. So we're looking for people who are like customers, we're looking for people that work well in a team, and again just kind of some of the points that we've touched on. Are they focused on results? Do they stand out? Are they smiling? Just a bit about that, because kind of at Asda we always say that we hire for attitude because we can train more skills that you need. So we're looking for people like that. After we do that, you would do like a one-to-one interview. It's quite informal, to be fair, at Asda, and we just want to chat and want to get to know people, and then we would take it from there.
Yeah, love it. Okay, a couple of questions coming in from some young folk. So Andrew, why does your company choose to recruit apprentices?
Basically, because I think we've got a view that we've got an obligation, if you like, to create high quality jobs, particularly in our sector for the future. I myself am very passionate about the whole apprenticeship, being an apprentice myself. We tend to take on about 80 to 90 apprentices a year. Those tend to be a blend of craft blue collar, so welders, fitters, pipe fitters, riggers. We also technical apprentices, but companies like ours don't continue to feed new talent into the reward pool, into the nobody else will. The country is embarking on, and Boris Johnson called it his build philosophy. We're already starting on things like high speed 2, Incley City new builds. We need to create the new skill base, if you like, to deliver some of those big infrastructure projects. So I think it's in all companies to play that part when it comes to training apprentices.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Andrew. Just having a wee bit of trouble with the sound on your mic there, Andrew. If you can move it a wee bit close to your mouth for the next one, we'll see if that works. Now, I've brought Hilary, a careers advisor from SDS, onto the screen. Hopefully you can all see her. Hello, Hilary. Hilary, is there anything you would like to add to some of this?
Yes, just want to make you guys aware that apprenticeships are even bigger now than they were years ago. So first of all, if you're watching this and you're in 5th or 6th year just now, there's an option where you can apply to do what's called a foundation apprenticeship, which is an industry recognised qualification, and that's equivalent of a higher grade. Now that means that you can still be in school, but you can study for this foundation apprenticeship, which means you'll get a blend of work-based learning. So some of that might be on site, some of it might be online. And because that's a equivalent of a higher, that can also get you into university. However, that can then lead you to then leave school and move into what we typically know as a modern apprenticeship. and there's over 80 types of apprenticeships out there. Some think it's just the traditional roles, but there's things in everything from creative, digital, social caring and advisory, science, IT. We're looking at growth areas for these opportunities. And that's a traditional route that you might have heard of, where you'll be working for a company, earning and learning at the same time for over, maybe 3 years, like what Duncan's doing. But then what a lot of people don't know about is following on from that, you could then apply potentially to a graduate apprenticeship, which is where you're actually working with a degree at the same time. That can take you up to master's level. And there's about 13 different types of apprenticeship opportunities in that as well. Again, growth areas like IT, cybersecurity, data science. And also, there's going to be jobs in the future in 5-10 years' time that we don't even know exist. So there's going to be lots of different opportunities. But I just wanted to make it clear that you can start that apprenticeship while you're in 5th and 6th year through a foundation apprenticeship. You can go on to apprenticeships.scot. You can speak to your school careers advisor. If you're not at school, you can get in contact with careers advisors through phoning our number, which I can give out if you want just now, which is 0800 917 8000, and you can get independent and impartial advice from careers advisors to see what is the best route and pathway for you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Hilary. Amazing. And we've got the website running along the bottom of the screen for everybody there as well. And there's a comment in from Abby on YouTube. You can see that on this. I love your picture, Abby. That's the best picture we've seen so far today. I do a foundation apprenticeship. I recommend it. That's brilliant. It's lovely to hear there's people dropping in wee positive comments like that. Andrea, just coming back to NHS for a second. What are the young people's pathways after when they finish an apprenticeship? What happens?
Okay, so when you finish your apprenticeship, there are various progression routes that you can take. So we have modern apprenticeships at different levels. So if you came in at the very early entry point, your progression route could be to another modern apprenticeship at a higher level, which would enable you to apply as well for a more senior post. So it helps you to gain access to the next step up. And we also offer things like graduate apprenticeships as well. So once you're in the door, typically a lot of NHS boards use graduate apprenticeships with their existing staff. So that would become a progression pathway for you as well. And there's many other routes that we support externally for people to do HNCs and other types of study where they continue to work with us and do accredited study at the same time, that enables you ultimately to gain entry if you wanted to a registrable profession and go and do that if you wanted to, but equally it can take you through to other routes, many of which you can stay with us and work, which might be non-clinical or they may be clinical, but there's many different routes that you can take. And the important point I would also say is that your skills that you build up are highly transferable. So if you don't necessarily know what you want to do at the beginning, there's lots of step on and off points along the way, so that if you decide that actually you've come across a profession that you're quite interested in, you can use that to represent your skills and knowledge and perhaps change direction. And that's what's great about the NHS. You can have loads of different jobs and lots of different opportunities, but you stay with one employer, which is really fortunate, and it's a great thing.
Awesome. Love it. Now we've got another question coming in from our viewers, from Elaine. As you can see on your screen there, prior to COVID-19, most employers offered pupils work placements. Is this still on offer? Is there anyone feels they want to answer that, or are you happy for just to pick at random? Anybody got something they'd like to answer with?
I think
Andrew? Oh, go for it, sorry.
Yeah, I could maybe talk about it. It's something that... it's not something that we're doing at the moment. Many of our employees are still not back in the office. We're going to offer placements generally around April, May time, I think, and during the summer. So it's something that we certainly put in place for next year. But as of right now, we're trying to get as few people in the office as possible.
Yeah, okay. Lindsay, what about Lindsay Marie? Sorry, what about ASDA? Is there any opportunities for work placements, or is that also on hold for the time being?
Yeah, that's also on hold for us just now. However, obviously it was the beginning of COVID. ASDA as a business, we employed 22,000 colleagues within 2 weeks. And on temporary contracts, and we'll probably be looking to recruit coming into Christmas, into the golden quarter. So if you're 16 and over, just keep an eye on the asda.com website, because there might be some opportunities in stores near you that will just be a temporary job just for Christmas.
Cool, brilliant. Now I'm just seeing as well, we do have another one coming in, which actually I think is a really important subject matter from Abby. Do you know if students who have mental illnesses such as anxiety get any support from their apprenticeship employer? Now, obviously, mental health and well-being are huge on the agenda, not just because of COVID-19, although, of course, that has highlighted this subject matter. It's something that the world is talking more about. Those of you that know me will know that this is something that I am passionate about and talk a lot about in my books and in my work. So, do you know, I'm actually gonna come to Duncan on this one, if you're okay with this, Duncan. Can I ask if this is something for you, who's very young and new in the world of work? Is there support for yourself, perhaps, or any colleagues who are maybe struggling a little bit? Are these things signposted?
So certainly within Lloyd's, sort of mental health is a really big thing, and sort of they do a lot of work with Mental Health UK. Even over the time of my time in the apprenticeship, I attempted a 3 Peaks challenge, sort of trying to do Snowdon, Ben Nevis and Scaffold Pike in one day. Didn't go well, but
okay.
There's internal support, certainly within Lloyd's. And I mean, even in my first few weeks, some of the feedback I sort of got was that I was like a bit of like a rabbit in the headlights of coming into such a big company and not really knowing what I was doing. But over time, sort of, I got support from my manager and everybody else to try and get me to be able to work in such a big company. And it's a big adjustment for people coming straight from school into companies to understand exactly how things are run and how they're meant to go about their day-to-day with all the responsibility. But as I said, there was plenty of support.
Brilliant. I love it. Good to know. Alex, what about J&D Pierce? You know, is mental health at the top of the agenda?
100%. We've not experienced anything at J&D Pierce contracts, but yeah, we've got things in place to give support.
That's good. No, that's great to know. And there'll be a lot of young people who have looked at your organisation who will be glad to hear that. And Lindsay Marie, I know that ASDA will be all over this.
Yeah, we are. We always on the top of the agenda. We're always talking about it. Stores have just kind of quiet rooms, wellbeing areas. We use a company called PAM, which is an occupational health company that will do referrals with people. On the back of that, they set up some counselling sessions. We've always got kind of telephone numbers available. Everything. We've got so much everywhere, so much information and so much help. It's a really, really big part of our business.
Brilliant. Okay. And Andrea, I think it also goes without saying, within the NHS, this is something that, I mean, I imagine that, especially with what's happened this year, it's probably something that's kind of gone through the roof for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just part of being realistic about life now and having, you know, a positive career that will last you. You need to look after yourself. No matter where you're working, it will be challenging. And no matter where you're working, you have times where personally it's really positive and other times when it's more challenging. And you need to have the personal skills to try and help with that, as well as the support around you. So that's absolutely something that obviously health and well-being is hugely important. It's built into apprenticeships and the work that we do, because obviously especially in health, to support other people who may be struggling or who may be in a time of need and trauma, you need to be strong yourself. And if we don't invest in people developing those skills at an early age, then we won't get the benefit of people being able to stay with us for long periods of time. So it's really important, but I'm sure it will be for all the employers.
Yeah, and for anybody, any young people that are watching this, or whether it's live just now or tuning in throughout the week, if there is anyone out there who is struggling with their mental health, anxiety, whatever it might be, get in touch. I'm happy to chat to people through my own work. I am someone who has fought away with anxiety and talk about it all the time on stage. If there's ever a career to go into, If you've got anxiety, they would say it's not public speaking and stand-up comedy. However, there are ways, there are tools, there are people. So make sure you reach out and ask for support and help. Right, we're almost out of time, but we've got time for one more question. I think it's just going to pop up on the screen just now. Okay, so employers keep asking for people with experience. So how do I go over the fact that I don't have the experience, even though I have the qualifications? I think it's a really good question, because I can remember as well applying for things, even part-time jobs when I was at college. Oh, you've not got enough experience. Okay, so how do I get the experience? Andrew, what would your advice be to somebody who's got the qualifications? How do they go about getting that experience?
Yeah, for me, it's not always about experience. When I receive, 200 applications for apprenticeship, generally they're all the same. It's very difficult sometimes to separate them based on qualifications. Everybody's done their national fives, maybe did their hires, they've all got similar results. For me, what we're looking for is what differentiates people. What have they done? What have they got that shows me that they've done that extra mile? It might be they've done the Duke of Edinburgh. It might be they've been part of the Boys Brigade or the Scouts, and they've done some charity work or that type of thing. So I start to look at these things. I don't expect apprentices or people applying for apprenticeships to have much experience at all. I'm simply looking to find out, what are the values of the individual? How driven are they to sort of differentiate themselves? And that's more what I'm looking for.
Brilliant. Okay, what about you, Lindsay Marie?
I think as well, obviously doing things like volunteering, but I think it's about being able to understand that the skills that you do have are really transferable, and it's trying to get that across to people, that the things that you do learn and you do know, you can actually take these skills and put them into most other companies and businesses and other roles.
Yeah, cool. Okay, listen, we are over our time, I'm afraid. We are going to have to wrap it up. There's so many more questions that are coming in. A huge thank you to every single person that has posted a question, left a comment, even the ones that we had to chuck out for writing naughty words. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. It's always a bit of extra fun when you're the host of something like this live online. Thanks, everybody. Keep me on my toes. But can I say a big thank you as well, not just to everybody that's tuned in, all the schools, all the DYW teams, SDS teams, everybody across the country, big thank you. But can I say a huge, huge thank you to our panelists for, again, giving up their time today to answer questions and be a part of our DYW Up to You 20 event today. So, as everybody now just drops out of the conversation, I just would like to remind everybody that we have these running every single day this week. All right. So we have tomorrow, it's all about colleges. We have stuff on about university. We've got stuff on about training and volunteering. And then on Friday, it's over to me to do my thing. It will be 20 to 30 minutes. And you'll find out a wee bit more about me and what it is that I do on Friday. And we'll make sure we finish the week on a high. We'll make sure everybody goes away from this absolutely buzzing with all sorts of incredible knowledge and opportunities popping into their heads, hopefully, that they can start to grab onto. So I said at the start that the whole point of this was to start painting a picture for you and giving you the tools and the support and the knowledge and the ideas to help you on your journey. Remember the hashtags DYW, Up to You 20, and No Wrong Path. Make sure you're joining in the conversation. Big thank you to DYW. Big thank you to Tree Knowledge and SDS. And we'll see you tomorrow at 2:00. Stay safe, and we look forward to that then.